Dueling genre.
In the world of Hollywood, movies get greenlit and redlit. They get remade and rebooted. But we are the Ideal. I'm Sam Gasch, and you are listening to Ideal Remake. Thank you for listening to Ideal Remake. We take movies that either have been, will be, or should be remade and talk about what the ideal version of that remake would be. Did you know that ostriches have suicidal tendencies? Look at this poor thing. She used to be a grand champion. Now I have to watch her day and night to make sure she doesn't do anything stupid. Sorry. Personal stuff. So Alex, is Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time a movie that has been, will be, or should be remade?
I guess the answer is maybe to all of that.
It maybe has been remade?
I'll get there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I have a
okay.
theory. It's not a theory. There's an idea.
Oh, I'm interested. Oh, cool. I'm so excited. Well, I guess, first of all, hi, Alex. Welcome back to Ideal Remake.
Thank you, Sam. Hi,
It's
Sam.
been a couple seasons.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't keep track.
But you've been on several times before, and
That
there's a
is
real
true.
theme to the movies you remake.
Yeah, they all happen to be hilarious. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
All of them. It's the crossover theme of every single one of them. They all happen to have at least one joke.
Just one.
At least one.
You meet the base requirements.
Yeah, Pixels only had the one.
That's true. But yeah, so we talk about video game movies.
That is true.
We've done
Pixels,
Pixels,
which was
Angry
barely-
Birds, Assassin's Creed,
Mortal Kombat before the remake came out.
Mortal Kombat. That's true.
Yeah.
And we didn't do Mario Brothers movie because I did that with someone else.
That's correct.
So we realized that there is another movie about video games.
Yeah, we did. We figured out at least one more.
And we also did Street Fighter.
We did do Street Fighter. That's true.
Street Fighter was the last one we did.
That was the last one we did. Yeah.
That was a good one.
That was a great movie.
It
Street
was.
Fighter.
It genuinely-
compared to the other ones we have watched.
Yes. But, like, even still, like, I think Street Fighter also surprised us both with how good it was.
Yeah.
And I'd love to talk about that some more, but we're not here to talk about Street Fighter.
No, unfortunately, we're not.
We're here to talk about one of the whitest movies I've ever seen.
Oh God, yeah.
Prince of Persia.
The Sands of Time.
The Sands of Time.
I like to make sure that we say that because then we all know they expected there to be sequels because
That
they already
is
gave it
true.
a title.
Despite the fact that they destroyed the source of the magic of the...
I can get there if you want. I know what the sequels were supposed to be.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Are you a Prince of Persia? Have you played the video games at all?
I played this one, Sands of Time.
Okay.
And I played one of the sequels to it.
Okay.
And then I played one of the original Prince of Persia games, which is a point-and-click platformer on computers from, like, the 90s.
Yeah.
That's the original Prince of Persia's.
So if people are imagining anyone playing this video game... Hi, Alex. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, I'm Alex Kane. I don't know where to go from here.
You're a comedian.
Oh, you want me to actually give my intro? Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm a comedian. You might recognize me from probably nothing, but I do a lot of comedy here in Los Angeles. I have a weekly mic at Flappers Comedy Club on Fridays, and I have other credits. I was on Bosch on Amazon for one episode.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I was a homeless guy.
You know what? Genuinely, that might be better than anything I've ever done.
It's exactly true.
Oh, no. Aww.
It's not true at all.
Right in the pain.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah, okay, so you've played Prince of Persia, you've played
Yes.
this particular game. How was the game?
The game is not this.
Oh.
In almost any regard. The character is a different name. The story is very different. The only crossover is that the bad guy is the same bad guy. Like, the twist, I put air quotes up,
Sure.
of who the bad guy is the same in the game.
Okay.
And there is a time travel element.
Because my understanding is that is what makes Prince of Persia, is that you have this thing that lets you go back a couple of seconds.
Specifically that one, but yeah.
Only that one.
I think it does come back in other ones, but that was introduced in Sands of Time.
Oh.
Yeah, before that it was, like, the plots didn't really matter in the 90s. This is the...
Like, he didn't have any special abilities, there was no...
Not really. He was just kind of a guy with a rope sword kind of thing.
Oh.
He even has different weapons in the games than he had in the movies. Like, there is a dagger with Sands of Time, but, like, that's more or less just a thing you use so that you can explain why you come back to life every time you die in the video game. The main plot of the video game is he accidentally takes the dagger out of the Sands of Time and unleashes the apocalypse, and it's his job to fix it.
That sounds very video game.
Yeah, it's very video game. And then there's also the princess, but I think her name is also different, and she's not this capable person. She's just kind of like your tag-along lover.
It's not Tamina?
I don't think it was Tamina in the game.
Fair enough.
And, like, to be fair, I could have looked up the game again and remembered, but, like, watching this movie, I was like, this is not the game.
Okay.
Like, if anything, it's the second game because he's wearing the outfit of the second game through a bunch of this movie.
What's the name of the second game?
The Two Thrones or something like that.
Okay.
So the second game is where they clearly were going to take the plot of it, because the second game is about the consequences of messing with time. So, like, the whole first game, you don't actually have any consequences of messing with time. And in the second game, a demon comes in and he's like, you shouldn't have fucked with time, I'm gonna kill you now. And that's the inciting plot of the second game.
Got it. Very Dragon Ball Z.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, very video game, anime, whatever you kind of want of it.
But, okay, that makes sense. That's fair. Interesting.
And then none of that happens in this game.
No.
In this movie.
But, okay, so you talked about how... You alluded to a couple of different things. The first was that they were clearly setting up sequels, and you know what those are going to be.
Yes.
So let's start there.
So the sequels were going to be of the two next games that came out, because there is a quote-unquote trilogy of the Sand of Time. It's that one, the Two Thrones, and then I can't remember what the third or second or whichever
They
one
defeat
it was.
the Time Demon and then something else.
Correct.
Okay.
They defeat the Time Demon, and then they defeat the Time Demon's daddy or something. I don't know.
That sounds like something that would happen.
But then there were two more follow-ups to that game, but, like, one of them was on just the DS, and one of them was, like, only on computers or something like that.
It sure would be a shame if you were a fan of a franchise that spread out the game releases over so many different platforms. And...
Oh, yeah, no, it's not fun when that's a thing you love. I can speak from experience.
Yeah, and, okay.
But so the sequels to this game, or this movie, were going to be loosely based off those games, and heavily work with the brothers being the companions moving forward. So those two brothers in the movie, I guess that kind of spoils a twist in a sense, were supposed to, start becoming bigger characters and maybe get their own spin-off movies. And this was eventually... They thought this was going to be a 7-movie arc and be rivals with their own series, the Pirates of the Caribbean. That's what they were expecting from this movie.
Has Pirates of the Caribbean even gotten to 7 movies at this point?
It got 5.
Yeah, it definitely has 5.
And a 6th coming? But I might be wrong on that.
I think they've certainly announced a 6th one.
Yeah, but they didn't sell 7 movies. They sold 3 and canceled 2.
Wow.
That's how this kind of went down. But they expected this to be their big money maker moving forward. They expected...
Who's they?
Disney.
Disney.
Yeah, Disney owns this.
Got it. It doesn't feel like Disney. It does when you think of, like, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, it feels very Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
There's like a swashbuckling element to this movie almost.
Yeah, that is kind of true. It very much feels like that. It feels like there's so many different elements of this movie where it's like, this will make a fun theme park ride.
Yeah,
like the ostrich races, for example.
That would have been really fun as a theme park ride. There are no ostrich races in the game, I don't think.
That was the one thing where I was like, oh, this is clearly something from the video game.
That character I don't remember from the game at all.
He's the best character in the movie!
Yeah, 100% he's the best character in the movie, because Alfred Molina is trying so hard to have a good time, and no one else is.
Alfred Molina is a national treasure and deserves all of the awards that have ever been given.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have been in this movie.
No, of course not. None of the people who are not Persian should have been in this movie.
You mean the entire cast should have been in this movie?
With the one exception of Ciso.
Okay, he was correct, yeah.
He was the second best character
Persian,
in the movie.
But
no.
He had the best scene in the movie, 100%.
100%.
Yeah, the best scene in this movie has 0 lead characters in it. It has one character who I do not believe had a name.
No, he did not.
Yeah.
He's a something assassin something.
Not assassin, Hussassin.
Hassanson.
Oh, was it Hassanson?
Hassanson.
I read it as Hussassin.
No.
But I did copy-paste it correctly, so
but
this is on me.
So it does say Hassanson?
Hassanson, yes.
Yeah, got it. Man. And then you also suggested that this might have already been remade.
So this is almost confirmed. Ubisoft made both Prince of Persia and Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed when they made it, was supposed to be a sequel or in the same universe as Prince of Persia.
What?
Yeah, and there's a lot of elements that are similar. A lot of the free running is the same. And you can see it in this movie where he's like standing on things about to jump into what could be haystacks.
No, you're not wrong.
That's not in Prince of Persia. That is very Assassin's Creed.
It's a shame that we watched, talked about, and remade Assassin's Creed, and I don't remember a single goddamn thing about it.
Yeah, because that was a bad movie too.
Yeah.
It's too bad both of these were bad movies.
Yeah, because like it sounds like they were trying to build their own Avengers of video games.
Maybe, but so Assassin's Creed, the video game, is straight up like a mistake. Like they thought they were making Prince of Persia and they made Assassin's Creed and they were like, let's roll with this.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
What? Oh.
So like that's like exactly what happened. It was supposed to be a sequel to Prince of Persia. It was supposed to be in the same universe, and then they just were like, well, that doesn't really work. And then there were some licensing issues. I think partly because Disney bought the rights to Prince of Persia, so the video game company had to make their own Assassin's Creed game, made it, and then made a movie out of it. So yeah, Prince of Persia was kind of remade.
That's crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
Rights
being traded don't make sense.
No,
is what
clearly,
it really comes down to.
That's bananas. Okay.
Yeah, there's like some belief that the Prince of Persia characters were going to be in Assassin's Creed. Like you would meet it wasn't Dastan in the game, but
sure,
whoever Dastan was.
Yeah. What a Persian name, Dastan.
Yeah, it's almost like they were like, well, let's not give him a Persian name.
Yeah. Some of them are, but like...
Some of them are.
But like...
But none of those accents were.
No.
This has my favorite trope of bad movies where it's like, we're in a different country. Everyone's British, no matter what country we're in.
Yeah.
Like, there are interviews of Jake Gyllenhaal being like, man, getting the English accent was really hard for me in this movie. And then the host is like, English accent? And he was like, yeah, everyone had a British accent in that movie. And, like, clearly the host is like, well, we shouldn't have done that. But, like, can't say that on TV. Like, I think it was Conan O'Brien or somebody like that. Yeah. And they're just like, huh. And it just, like, there's this weird silence for a second.
If Conan O'Brien knows that you fucked up a video game movie, then you fucked up a video game movie.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he had a whole thing where he was clueless gamer.
Did he really?
Yeah, he would play video games for the first time with one of his writers and not know what he was doing.
I think that's fun. I think that's a good idea.
Fun, yeah. Yeah, he had some good ones. I think he did like Super Smash Bros. And FIFA. It was very fun.
That sounds great. So Prince of Persia, what actually happens in this movie, Alex? Oh no.
What does so the movie starts and there's a little Aladdin scene where a kid steals an apple and gets caught.
We get some sort of like voiceover text where it's like,
oh right, there's the voiceover from the brother the whole time.
King Shahriman was told that he has two sons and it's pretty great, but he won't really be happy until he picks up and adopts a third orphan from the street.
And then he finds an orphan that is brave.
Yeah, he finds an orphan that stands up like for like some other random kid on the street, and then they abandon.
It wasn't a random kid. It is his best friend canonically.
Oh.
And the best friend does show up in the movie.
Okay, so that is his older best friend too.
His older best friend is his little right-hand man who dies for him.
Oh, good.
In like the opening.
Yeah, and then comes back and it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was like, so does he abandon this friend? No, he doesn't. He does not abandon the friend. Yeah. That's good.
That part is good. That's the last good thing in this movie, unfortunately.
So the king randomly goes, you seem good, and then brings him into the castle.
Yep.
Cut to 20 years in the future?
Give or take, I don't know.
15,
like
20 years. Age is pointless. And
age is up in the air. They could be 16 canonically.
And they're doing a war.
Yeah, so there are 3 princes and an uncle.
Yep.
And they're the main characters.
A real Ben Kingsley type.
A menacing-looking Englishman, if you will. Or Gandhi, if you will.
Another part that he definitely has played.
He definitely has. But so they're doing a war, kind of. So they're on the road to the war, and then the uncle goes to the head prince, and he was like, hey man, we should invade this city over there because they're giving weapons to our enemies.
A spy told me so.
A spy told me so.
Here are the weapons that were recovered. They are clearly made by this city.
Correct. And then this was my favorite part, honestly. The head brother guy, his name is Tuss.
Garciv.
No, Garziv is the other brother.
Oh, well, I switched them.
Yeah, Tuss is the one who is to become king, and Garciv is the one that is jealous of Dastan.
Whoops. Continue.
Okay. So Tuss is the voiceover,
Oh.
which I didn't know till the end of the movie.
Okay.
So anyways.
I vaguely recognized him, but I couldn't place it.
Same.
Yeah.
Both the brothers I vaguely recognized.
The younger brother, I was like, he seems like some guy.
Yeah. But so Tuss says to his uncle and brother who are sitting there, and they were like, we should go invade that city. And he goes, I'm going to have a war council with my brother and my uncle before we do this. And I'm like, this is the war council then. Like,
Yeah.
you're telling the war council you're going to have a war council.
Yeah.
And then they're like, and where's our other brother? And it turns out he's in a fighting pit or something, wrestling with, getting beat up by his underling of some kind.
Something. Like
he's losing the fight.
Yeah, and we don't know why.
We never know why. That never gets explained. He just
like,
likes doing this, I think.
It's just like he likes fighting and doing shenanigans because he has nothing to gain. I guess he like got everything he ever wanted. He was born on the street, grew up on the street, lived on the street, and then was like, now you never have to worry about anything again. Okay, cool, but I still crave a sense of danger.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if that was text instead of something I'm implying a week later.
Sure, yeah. It's almost like they didn't know subtext very well or how to write a character.
It's possible.
Yeah. But so like they cut to him fighting and they're like, "Hey, you're late for the war council." And he's like, "Ah, man." And so
got me again.
Goes to the war council because everything's happening a mile a minute at this point.
Yeah.
And so like the next scene he's at the war council and the guy who was just fighting is like, "Hey guys, we shouldn't invade that city." And then the other people are like, "No, we should."
Yeah.
Because they're selling weapons to our enemies. Just gonna say, selling weapons to our enemies in 2010 and that being false, this is clearly an Iraq allegory.
No way!
Yeah, like, we should just call that out up front.
Yeah, modern day, close to Persia.
Yeah.
It's not Persia, but Iran, Iraq, right?
Yeah, it's all up. Persia was huge.
Persia was very big.
Persia was huge.
They had a whole conqueror about it.
They did. But so...
I hear he's pretty great.
I hear there was 300 at least.
Absolutely. Anyway, so they invade the city, and inside the city is a Princess Tamina, and she's like...
Oh, they invade the city, and he kills a guy and takes his dagger, and that's very important.
Well, before they invade the city, the princess is like, all right, they might invade the city, but we're too important for them to invade. Why would they ever invade us? But just to be safe, let's lock down.
Yeah.
And then Dastan figures out how to sneak into the city with his, like, band of merry men.
Yeah, he has, like, it only matters for the first 20 minutes, but he has, like, a whole army at his disposal of,
he has
people who came from the streets.
He has his whole little Knights of Ren.
Yeah. And they're the best soldiers in the whole army, and they flank the city and are the first ones to get in.
They get in the city to basically force one of the gates to stay open that allows, instead of doing a siege or something else, it allows the gates to be open and the army can just waltz in.
Yeah, this is very old-timey battle tactics.
Absolutely. Someone
gets in and opens the gate. It's the most important part about invading a city.
So then the princess turns to one of her trusted dudes who doesn't have a name and goes, all right, this is a knife. No one can have this knife. You better do everything you can to make sure no one gets this knife. And that guy goes, okay.
And then he loses in a fight to Dastan.
Well, so then he attacks Dastan instead of continuing to leave.
I wasn't sure what happened there, honestly.
He shouldn't have been attacking Dastan.
He should have gone and hid.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking.
Literally anywhere else other than attacking the lead boy.
Yeah, the guy who took on the whole army by himself at this point. Like, he crawled up the wall by himself. Some guy shot arrows at a wall so he could climb it.
Yeah.
He's a lone soldier in there. He took out most of the army, and that's the guy the dude charges at.
And he's like, this does feel like the next logical step for a mini-boss.
Yeah, it's absolutely a mini-boss.
Anyway, Dastan wins and goes, hey, this knife's cool.
I'm gonna keep it.
Which
makes sense.
Absolutely makes sense. I also like keeping shiny things.
And then a lot happens, but so then the princess is captured.
Yeah.
And Prince Tuss says, hey, I'll spare your city if you marry me. And she's like, fuck no.
And then she sees that Dastan has the knife, and she's like, well, maybe.
Yeah. And then the king of Persia shows up.
So they all go back to Persia land.
So I wasn't sure. Did he come to out? I didn't write down the name of the city. The city, or did they go bring the princess to him? I thought he came to the city.
I thought that they went because, like, because either the brother or Tusk were still like ransacking the city and like looting the city, trying to find the hourglass.
I'm not. Everything was really convoluted.
I think they went back to the original city. They brought the princess with, so they could get so that Tusk could get father's approval to marry her. Meanwhile, the king's like, you have so many wives. I'm just going to breeze past that. Anyway, she should marry Dastan.
Yeah, so he gives the princess to Dastan.
Because we're cool with that.
And Dastan gives him the gift the thing they took from the people they just conquered.
Yeah.
Which is a ceremonial robe of
the
some
uncle
kind.
And the elder brother are like, so did you bring anything back to give to Dad? No. Give him this. It's the cloak of the high priest.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's poison and it kills the dad.
Yeah, which was great because he wore it for a solid 10 minutes before the poison kicked in, and which kicked in instantly after it kicked in.
I don't know how it worked.
It was really confused. I was really confused at all of this.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of explanation. I'm still confused where they were exactly.
Persia.
So, yeah, but they also keep saying, like, it had been a week. Like, time is passing mysteriously in this too. So like I don't know. It happened. The king died.
And because Dastan was the one that gave him the cloak, they're like, well, clearly this person who gave the king the cloak poisoned it, despite the fact that I actively remember giving him the cloak to give to the king.
Yeah, and he's like, Dastan's the one on his knees, like trying to rip the cloak off his dad or father figure.
Yeah.
While like Ben Kingsley's clearly standing in the back, unwilling to do anything. I think even holding the other prince back at one point.
Something like that. And like the king then looks Galactus in the eye and goes, why?
Yeah.
And then dies.
So the king also thinks Dastan killed him, maybe. I guess.
It doesn't really matter.
But then, so the uncle character, Ben Kingsley, I'm just going to call him Ben Kingsley from here on. Ben Kingsley, even though his name is Nizam, Ben Kingsley sends word to Tusk, like, hey, your brother killed your father. Send a bounty out for him, or something like that. So now, Dastan is on the run, and he escapes everyone with the princess.
They're freaking out. She sees that they're freaking out, and she goes, hey, you know how everyone's freaking out? They're about to come for you? We should go. And he's like, you're right.
She helps save him in that moment for no
Well, she helps
reason.
save him because he has the knife. And basically, as soon as she gets them away, she plans on betraying him and taking the knife.
Oh, right. She tries to kill him immediately, and he doesn't let that happen.
He stumbles upon the fact that he accidentally hits the top of the knife and rewinds time a little bit.
Yes. So this part isn't very well explained. He can rewind time exactly 1 minute. That is as far as it can do. Yeah.
Because there were like 2 charges in the knife, and he did like 30 seconds and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then,
a lot of criticism of this movie was like, why didn't the princess just use the knife to stop the invasion? Because you can go back 1 minute.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it did bother me watching it. I was like, why isn't anyone just using more of this? Like, what? Someone explain this to me. And it really was never said.
She said it immediately after. She said it's full of sand. The sand can rewind exactly 1 minute. You used up all the sand, and now you...
I don't think she said 1 minute.
She absolutely said 1 minute.
Oh, that's stupid.
She 100% said 1 minute. I remember her saying 1 minute.
I don't remember her... Mostly, I don't remember her talking, because this movie sucked. But... So he uses it to rewind 1 minute because she attacks him, and he uses it to stop her attacking him.
And then they realize that the knife is empty now, so now it's just a normal knife.
Now it's just a dull knife.
Not even particularly sharp.
Yeah. And then they go on a series of adventures trying to kill the other one almost. Like, she hits him with a bone in the back of the head to knock him out and gets him kidnapped by...
Alfred Molina.
Alfred Molina and his group of libertarian menaces.
Yeah.
And then...
I prefer to say anarchist.
Sure, but his whole thing is specifically, I don't want to pay taxes.
It sure is. While also abusing and manipulating the people who look up to him. It is libertarian. However, I liked him.
But I like him, yeah.
So I want to say anarchist. But you are correct.
Yeah, it's weird. So
it's very strange.
She knocks him out, and he's found by them, and then they find her, and he... Oh, no, so they find him, and he leads them to her, and sells her to them, even though he has no ownership of anybody, because that's weird. And then they're both in this weird libertarian camp now.
And then there's an ostrich race.
And then there's an ostrich race, and they use that...
And then once again, they use that as a distraction to help each other escape.
To escape together, yeah.
And all the while, he's, like, trying to figure out how to make the knife work again.
Yeah,
and he's, like, putting on other sand, but other sand's not going to work. He needs the special sand.
And the libertarian guy has a bodyguard named Ciso, who we earlier mentioned, and he's one of the best characters in the movie.
He's one of the best characters in the movie. He starts as a stereotype. He's the black guy with the heart of gold.
Sure, yeah.
He is pitched as one stereotype while existing as a separate stereotype.
Pretty much, yeah. You think he's like the dumb, silent bodyguard, and he turns out to be the heart of the movie.
Yeah.
Which...
Fine.
Yeah, whatever. It is a thing.
So eventually they find out that, like... So they realize that the king is going to be buried, and Dastan is like, well, I got to be there for that. Plus my uncle's going to be there. He's been the most trusted person in my entire life. I have to tell him exactly what's going on. Mm-hmm. So he does that. And so he sneaks in, does a whole, like, action sequence, and in doing so, finds out that the uncle, Ben Kingsley's, hands are covered in burns. He never touched the cloak when the king was being attacked, which means that he set up the cloak, which means, in fact, he's the bad guy. Oh no,
Gasp.
Everyone run.
One of the 3 people on the poster turned out to be the bad guy. Big twist.
And, I mean, arguably the most famous person in the movie turned out to be the bad guy.
Sure, I don't know who's more famous between him and...
At the time?
Even at the time.
Even at the time. No, you're right.
But I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
They're both pretty big names.
It's true.
And they both shouldn't have been in this movie. And so...
It's true.
Dastan finds out that his uncle was the one who actually betrayed him. And then they get caught by the libertarians again. I feel like something happened between then, but...
Well, because they messed up the ostrich race, the Alfred Molina character goes after him because this is one ostrich. I have one ostrich left.
This is what you open the podcast with.
And so, like, I have one ostrich left. You've ruined everything. How am I supposed to have people gamble on ostrich races if I only have one ostrich? You're going to pay for this. Hey, tell you what, I know where the secret town is that's full of gold. Let's go there. And he's like, okay. So he helps them go to that town where, in fact, the secret gold is, and he does get the secret gold. But meanwhile, Ben Kingsley's like, I gotta deal with this guy. I better go talk to the secret assassins.
That's right, the secret assassins that he keeps under the city?
The secret Hassansins.
Hassansins.
Anyway, they're real white.
Yeah, they're real creepy.
They're real creepy. That dude, his face is melted and has a snake.
Yeah, and they all have slightly more advanced weapons than they should have, kind of thing. Like, they have crossbows that shoot out of their, like, wrists.
Yeah.
And they have fire bombs, basically, like fire grenades. And so this is where my theory of Assassin's Creed comes in. Those are all Assassin's Creed, like, weaponry.
Are they?
Like, almost directly from various games.
Okay, alright, fair enough.
Yeah, so, like, just saying.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, and I can't remember where they said the assassins were from, but I think they were supposed to be maybe, like, Greek. I wasn't really sure where they were supposed to be from.
It doesn't really matter. Anyway,
I'm just saying that for my own casting later.
Fair enough. They all get to the secret city. The Hassansins track them down and attack them in the secret city. Oh, after they get attacked in the middle of the night by snakes.
The Hassansins' pet snakes all come and attack.
Dastan uses the power of the knife to rewind time, kills all the snakes, and saves Sisu's life.
Yes. And Ciso, as we had learned earlier, if you save his life, he now has a life debt to protect.
Yes, correct. Like a stereotype.
Yes.
And so then they get to the secret town, they get attacked again, they fight them off, but the bad guys get the knife. Something. Anyway.
Yeah.
They get the knife.
Oh, there's his brother comes and tries to fight him, and he's like, you killed Dad. And he's like, I didn't kill Dad. And his brother's like, maybe you didn't. And then he stupidly hears a noise outside, walks outside, and gets shot in the chest. And immediately
gets shot in the chest. He doesn't die immediately because it allows him to, like, at the last minute with his last dying strength, save Dastan's life.
Yeah. Whatever. I don't remember where that happened in what we just said. I don't remember if it was before the snake fight or not.
After.
It was after.
It was after.
Okay.
Snakes first, then city.
Then the city.
Because
okay.
Dust Devils and whatever. And then they go to so that's the secret town. Mm-hmm. Then they go back to the main town that the princess is from, because that's where the hourglass is.
It's the sand glass in this.
I'm sorry,
movie.
Whatever, the sand glass.
Because they didn't think we would know what an hourglass was.
And then we get this whole story from the princess about how the secret magic sand is a gift from the gods because they were going to wipe out all of humanity, but then a little girl was like, "Please don't." And they were like, "Okay." Yeah. But we're going to keep it all in this hourglass, or this sand glass, and if it breaks, we're going to wipe everything out.
Yep.
Anyway, the uncle wants to stab the
He
I
wants
don't
to
know.
stab the thing because it somehow will take him back in time to a day where he saved his brother's life.
And he wants to
not save his brother's
life
life so he can become the king.
Have
instead.
a lifetime of being the king.
Yeah, which, it would have been nice if we knew that moment happened before this moment. But also, it wasn't well done. I was really confused.
This was a moment that really made me think about Oedipus.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oedipus and Antigone specifically. Because Oedipus
or I like to call it Antigone.
Sure. There's a moment when Oedipus's brother is named Creon, and he talks about how, why would he ever want to be king? I'm the brother to the king. I get all the honor and respect and none of the responsibility. I get to just be my own person with everything I could ever possibly want. And no one looks to me for anything. Why would I ever want to be king? And so now we get to spend, it turns out Ben Kingsley spent his entire life regretting the fact that he saved his brother's life because he thinks he'd be a better king. And it just seethed inside of him
better
for his entire life.
Better is the wrong word. I don't think he thinks he'd be better. I think he just wants the power.
Fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that,
worse.
Yeah, it's you have the power.
Yeah, I don't know what he thought the difference would be. They don't really mention that.
No, it's vague evil intent.
Yeah, it's power for power's sake.
Sure.
And so he tries to do that, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
Dastan
he also
him?
Dastan what goes to the older brother who's still alive and is like, you have to understand this thing's magic. We have to prevent
I forgot about that.
We have to prevent Uncle from getting it. Why would Uncle want it? Because it does this magic. You can't prove that it gets this magic. Oh yeah, if you hit this button, it rewinds for a full minute. Stab myself. It stabs himself in the heart and dies.
Yeah.
And then the uncle shows up and the brother's like, I guess I'll try it. He's dying right now. Click. Rewinds a full minute. He's like, holy shit, it worked. And it's right before Jake Gyllenhaal's about to stab himself. And he's like, it worked. And Jake Gyllenhaal's like, oh, you pressed the button, I don't have to stab myself. Oh, thank God.
Yep. And that's how that worked.
Yep.
And then the princess dies at one point.
Well, as they're going and climbing to the sand thing,
really bad CGI sand.
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal, it's a tough situation where Jake Gyllenhaal has to either stop Ben Kingsley or save the princess. And after he's saving the princess, she's like, no, I'm not important. Yeah. Go save everybody.
And
so
like,
she
no. And
she forces herself to fall and get released from his grip. And then he goes and stops the sand thingy, and that rewinds back to the exact moment where he picked up the knife to begin with.
Yeah, so it goes to the moment where he kills the guy, he picks up the knife, and then it cuts to they have already invaded the city, and they're about to go talk to the princess, and he stops the uncle and his brothers, and he's like, hey, our uncle's gonna betray us. And then Ben Kingsley's like, no, I won't. And he was like, yeah, you will. And Ben Kingsley's like, drat, you got me, and then starts attacking him.
Yeah, despite the fact that, clearly Jake Gyllenhaal's being crazy.
Yeah, there is no evidence.
There's no evidence. There's nothing to imply that.
Yeah.
And so instead he decides to have his evil turn publicly in front of everybody.
Yeah, so the evidence is Jake Gyllenhaal's like, go get the spy! Go talk to the spy who found the weapons! And Tuss is like, yeah, sure, I guess I can go talk to the spy. And then Ben Kingsley pulls his sword out and starts swinging. Yeah, and very poorly starts swinging, just like...
Well, which is crazy, because earlier in the movie, after Jake Gyllenhaal does the thing with the brother, and the brother saves him with the power of the sandglass, the uncle comes in and goes, that sucks. And just one-shots the elder brother.
Oh, yeah,
and because it turns out he's really good with the sword.
Yeah, he's trained his whole life.
Once.
Only that moment is he
Only
good
that
with
one
the
time.
sword.
But anyway, so they win, movie over. Hey,
everyone's alive again.
I guess, except for Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, did he die or just get taken away?
He got stabbed by the older brother.
Oh, right, the older brother. So, Dastan throws him off a staircase and then stands over him. And he's like, I have won. I'm going to walk away and turn my back. And then Ben Kingsley gets up and is about to kill him. And then the brother saves him. And
we're still brothers.
Yeah, and then they go up and they're like, up to the princess and they're like, sorry, we killed all your army.
Here's
our bad.
Whoopsie daisy.
Want to marry Dastan? And Dastan's like, here's your knife. And she's like, I guess I'll marry you.
I guess I don't understand what's going on. And then he plays it real coy instead of going, hey, so this crazy thing happened. You're the one person who would believe that would happen because you know all the stories and the magic. We just went on this whole adventure, you and I. And the knife brought us back to this exact moment.
Yeah, he doesn't tell her.
He doesn't tell her any of that.
Least.
He's just like, I'll never tell. End of movie.
I do believe he might tell her when there's not a crowd. Maybe.
They go for a walk on their own.
That's true. Do we see the walk, or does it end before that?
No, they go on a walk on their own.
They definitely go on their walk, yeah. I don't know. By that point, I'm barely paying attention to this movie, to be fair.
So what are we going to do?
Fix it. First off, recast the whole thing.
Yeah. We're obviously recasting the whole thing. We'll get to that later. We obviously cast Persian people.
Yeah. So one thing that I would do is make Dastan accidentally the bad guy. Like, I would have him, like, forcibly get the knife. Not make him this guy with the heart of gold, but make him, like, have to learn lessons the whole time.
Right. Obviously. Yes.
I would make Tamina way more competent. They shouldn't be trying to fight each other the whole time, probably.
Also, yes. I completely agree with that.
And then either make Nizam obviously the bad guy or not, but don't do this weird middle thing where he's like, twist, it's him the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do a twist, the twist should be the king.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
If there's going to be a twist, don't Ben Kingsley it. Like, I ended up gender swapping a couple of the characters, including Nizam, the Ben Kingsley character, and the younger brother.
I only gender swapped Cecil, but I don't mind.
I also gender swapped Cecil.
So I kind of...
But we'll get to that.
As far as plot-wise, I don't mind if the plot is similar, though, where it is Dastan is framed for murder, has to escape. I would rather him and Tamina just immediately hit it off and not have this weird, I'm going to kill you the whole time, back and forth.
Let's take another step back. You said in the video game, the power of the knife is that basically it's an explanation so that every time you die, you get to restart the level.
Yes, more or less.
Is there any reason why we can't use that again, where the knife has a certain number of charges and whoever's wielding the knife, whenever they die, it rewinds back to a moment? So here's what I'm suggesting. Whoever dies will allows the person wielding the knife to rewind back, let's say 15, 20 minutes, and allows them to try all of this again. But it's not, they don't know, and they also can't control it.
Oh, okay. I like that idea. You are in control of the knife, canonically, in the game.
Part of the reason why I want to suggest it is I want to suggest that you have to die.
Sure.
And the reason why I want that to be the case is because I want there to be a reason for this person to be going after and attacking Dastan, because I think he should be going there to die at his hand so he can rewind to a point before the invasion so that we know the invasion's coming and they can stop it. So she sends him off to go die.
Okay.
But somewhere in the battle, Dastan gets the knife
first.
And then as soon as the guy's stabbed, he's like, great, we win. Wait. And Dastan's like, were you trying to kill me with this? He's like, wait, no. And then he dies. And it's like, oh no, now I died for nothing.
I like that idea. I don't know, would you have a bunch of characters die throughout the plot and have to keep going back?
No, just Dastan.
Okay, so just Dastan's constantly dying?
Yeah.
I like the idea, but I want more people to die. So, like, at one point, Tamina has the knife and dies and has to go back.
Or, like, yes, I love that. And I also love the moment of, like, she's clearly about to die and Dastan throws her the knife.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And it's like, oh, shit, you're about to die. Here you go. Thanks.
Back to 15 minutes before.
Stab. Crush. Whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that'd be fun. And it also goes with my mind of, like, I want Dastan and Tamina to be a team the whole time, not antagonizing each other.
Like, there could be something fun of, they know, we can even start with the plot of, we need to attack that city, they're supplying our enemy. An enemy we never meet, by the way.
Yeah, an enemy I don't remember the name of.
As soon as we pick up the fact that this company has been supplying the weapons, whoever they were supplying the weapons to, no longer relevant.
Yeah, wherever they were going after this city, we don't ever find out. Because they weren't marching to this city. This city was on the way of where they were marching.
Yes. So what I would say is, let's say the enemy is wherever they were marching, and they're going to, like, stop some sort of invading force or weather phenomena or something.
Sure.
And on the way, there's the city, but they're an army passing by, so the city's on lockdown.
Okay. Makes sense.
And so, like, they're like, well, we'd love to warn the city and send in a person, but, like, they don't trust us because we're a passing army, and they don't want a spy to get in and, like, lower the drawbridge.
Okay.
So Dastan sneaks in to go warn them.
As he would.
And then, like, someone attacks him, and he, like, gets the knife and, like, defends himself.
And now he's not like leading the army, basically. He's just kind of like a one-man team.
He and his little squad were like going in to do a warning and say, hey, the reason why we're passing by is because we're going to go do this thing.
Got it.
And it turns out like that other army could be funded by the sibling who's intentionally setting up this major loss to like weaken the power of the king so that the sibling can take control.
Okay.
But like, so it's basically like Dastan goes in to like warn the city like, hey, this thing's happening. You guys need to be careful. Like, if I can get in, anyone can get in.
Makes
and in
sense.
doing so, he like gets the knife.
Makes him not a bad guy anymore, too. Yeah.
It makes him not a bad guy. And like, they get in, they do this warning, and she's like, and then it turns out he's right.
Yes.
Like, army gets wiped out. All this bad shit happens. The two like other brothers make it back.
Yeah.
And basically, then that army comes and attacks their town. We can even have this be an entire army of Hassansons.
Okay. It could be. I like this idea. It really just changes the first 20 minutes of the movie, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
It makes our bad guys good guys.
Yeah, because there are no good guys in this movie, as it
And theoretically,
stands.
it gets the two leads on the same side, where she's like, you did come here to warn us. We attacked you. It's actually my fault. We shouldn't have done that. I mean, to be fair, it was a misunderstanding, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
And we all
Yeah.
know every good romance begins with a misunderstanding.
That is true. They do have a nice meet cute there. But yeah, and then, so, like, would we keep it so that they give the king a poison cloak? Like, that is kind of where the movie starts.
We can do that of, like, this other attacking army, funded by the brother, then does, in fact, attack the town, and Jake Gyllenhaal gets the princess out. Mm-hmm. They seek refuge in the original town, and the king's like, okay, we failed, but we can re-rally, we can do everything. Jake Gyllenhaal, did you bring back anything? What's going on? Or, like, something... Who cares? You can even have the sibling now immediately be like, oh yeah, we're being attacked, and it's all your fault. Stab.
Okay.
It's time for us. You were too soft. Now we're going to attack, and we're gonna win. We're Persia.
So he does a scar?
He does a scar.
Okay.
Long live the king.
So that kind of gets rid of the whole, like, the prince is now the king situation. Because that is what happens in the movie.
Yeah, and that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I kind of like the prince being the king because it does...
Well, then let's set it up so that we all know that it's... Like, there's no reveal.
Yeah, there's no reveal. So he does a scar, but then...
The king gets stabbed,
Tuss is in
and
charge.
he gets stabbed with Dastan's favorite knife. So, like, everyone thinks it's Dastan. But Dastan, that's not Dastan. And so now Dastan doesn't have that knife anymore. He needs a new knife. Well, he's going to use this knife.
He has
that
this
just
one.
took.
Yeah. Okay, no, I like that better than, like, a scar, I'm taking over here.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So, like, Nizam kills his brother, Shahraman? Shahraman. Who's the king.
It sounds like Solomon, but
Almost.
it's not.
So Shahraman dies. Nizam now has Tuss's ear, basically making him Dick Cheney. And so Tuss...
He is willing to shoot a man in the face.
He definitely is. Tuss sends guards...
And then make that person apologize.
Yeah. in the media.
Yep.
So Dastan and Tamina are on the run. I think we should get more of Garciv chasing him.
I agree.
I think that would be a better arc for that character.
Especially because, like, Garciv and Tuss, the betrayal they feel at this person who was brought into the house and they love, it's their brother, killing their father? My God.
Yeah, no, it really makes sense that they'd be upset. And Garciv, like, was shown as, like, already upset that Dastan is allowed in the house kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, he's already mad. But it would, like, I would like to see his arc a little more. I would like to have a scene of him by himself. Or a scene with Tuss by himself, even. But neither of them really get anything to do.
No.
Nizam does, but neither of them do.
They need to be the enforcers coming after, doing Nizam's will of, like, going after the brother of, like, despite the fact... So, it can even be pitched of, nothing will unify Persia more into solidified force to defend our walls than taking down and defeating the man who killed the king.
Yeah, I could see that.
That will unite us all and give us the morale boost we need to win the fight.
Yeah.
So you need to go stop him. You need to go bring him back because otherwise the city's too devastated and we're going to lose to this encroaching army.
Yeah, so, like, I would love that to be a scene of Nizam telling Tuss what to do, even though Tuss is king.
Yes.
So that we can see Nizam has all the power and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
But we because, like, in the movie as it was set up, you're supposed to not know whether Nizam or Tuss was the one who killed the king till that moment.
Yeah.
And I think you're supposed to assume it was Tuss even.
Right.
Even though you never actually see him do anything in the movie, because he has no scenes.
All you know is that he has multiple wives.
Yes. And wants another one.
Sure.
Real bad.
That's not going to be in our movie.
No, we won't have anything about... No one's getting married if I make this movie. No one's even talking about getting married.
No, because it's not relevant to whatever story is happening.
Like, if Dastan and Tamina kiss, fine, but I genuinely don't care if they're together at the end of the movie. Yeah. That's not, like, what I'm going for here.
So, I think that's our... Basically, we've talked through our Act 1. Act 2 are, like, goofy adventures while they're kind of being tracked down. They're each going to die a bunch of times.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind escapades of them going to getting captured together by the Libertarian thing. Maybe Dastan trying to escape his weird role of now he's the Libertarian guy's best friend.
Yeah.
And trying to save Tamina, who's now serving drinks at the ostrich race, which was a fun twist.
One of them has to get trampled by ostriches.
Oh, sure. That could be when he throws her the knife.
I think it's funnier if he gets trampled by ostriches, and then she can fall off something.
Okay.
I think it's funnier if he's like, the hell are these things? I'm not going to get taken out by a bunch of birds.
I'd be on board for that.
Long live the king.
Yeah, I'd be on board for that. A little less of, like, back and forth between city and desert and city and desert. Just
Act 2 should mostly be in this other Alfred Molina city, and then they decide they have to sneak back into not some other secret bonus town.
Yeah,
they
but back to the same city.
Sneak back into her city, because that's where everything she knows is.
Yes.
And so it also makes sense that there'd be a bunch of Hassansons in that city because they took it over.
Or Garciv waiting for them to come back and attack them.
All
like
of
so
the
many
things.
things there.
And so it's a whole stealth... It's both a stealth and a... what's the thing where you have to bring someone with you on a mission? On a video game thing?
I know exactly what you're talking about, and the word is just like on the tip of my tongue.
Oh, no!
I want to say carry mission,
no,
but it's not it.
It's not an accomplice.
Escort mission.
Escort mission.
Escort mission.
It's a stealth escort mission through the city, and it's literally the thing where you have to pause and wait for the guards to pass by, and they have to sneak in and do the thing. Uh-oh, guards stab. You have to do the whole level over again? God damn it.
Uncharted. The way Uncharted should have been.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Phantom Hourglass, the whole thing.
All of them. Lots of it. But no, I like that. So, like, Act 2 is mostly just, like, character building and, like, a lot of death.
Yeah.
Over and over and over and over.
Yes.
Okay. And then Act 3, I don't care.
Final showdown in the city.
Obviously a final showdown between Nizam and Dastan.
They're going to end up having to fight each of the brothers, and in doing so, convince each of the brothers to do whatever. Like, they even figure out a way to, like, all right, here you go, tosses him the knife. Why would you give me a knife? Stab! Oh my god, you gave me a knife and then killed me. See you in a little bit.
Oh my god.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I would like that. That seems like a good way to, like, get Garciv on your side.
It also would be really funny if you set it up so that, like, Dastan's like, all right, we're going to have this whole fight, and I'm going to make this fight take 15 minutes. I'm going to drag the shit out of this fight, and I'm going to explain everything that's, like, we're going to cut around this fight, because, like, a bunch of other people are doing things, and then you go back and they're like, yes, we're still fighting, my god. And it's like, all right, has it been, I don't know, about 15 minutes? Great, here you go. What? Why would you... Ugh!
Dang. And then it cuts right back to, this fight is going to take 15 minutes. He's like, oh!
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on board for that. That seems like a good way to handle Garciv. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because Garciv's also the guy you want to see die. Because he's a dick.
A little bit.
If you paint him right, he should be... There should be a moment where Dastan kills him and he's like, really always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Obviously not actually, but,
sure.
you know.
But, like, you get to have that fun of, like, clear... Like, I think Garciv should be the better fighter. And Dastan's doing everything he can to just, like, stay out of harm's way.
Yeah, I like that.
But, like, drags out for 15 minutes, and then that does it.
Dastan, outside of that first scene where he's just getting beat up by a stranger, is the most elite fighter ever, apparently.
He's the most elite everything.
Yeah.
The entire cavern collapses around him, and he figures out how to surf a rock down a waterfall of sand and somehow walks away and beats Tamina to their destination. She's like, hi? And he's like, all right, well, ready to go? And she's like, okay, well, I don't... He is the most merry of Sues.
No bet. He gets away with anything. And, like, we didn't talk about it yet, but that sand CGI for a movie that is built around sand scenes is so bad.
It's not good.
It genuinely looks like water from like a 90s animated movie.
It's not good.
It is so bad.
But that's our big finale. I mean, theoretically, the motivation of the bad guy can still be the same. They should just be...
They're seeking power for power's sake.
Power for power's sake.
It's not a great thing, but it's fine.
Yeah, whatever. And what I think would be interesting is that this person's kind of spent their whole career waiting to to ascend to power, realizing that really their only shot was 50 years ago.
I think it would be almost funny if at the end we find out Nazem's not trying to go back in time. He just wants the power to be able to do it just in case, but he knows he's in a good situation as being the puppeteer of the king.
The reason why he wanted to go back was because not only does he get to go be the king, he also gets a whole lifetime.
Oh, he just wants to do it again, yeah.
I don't know, 60-something years old in the movie. 50, 60-something years old ago, and he'd rather be 15.
Okay.
And have his whole life to look forward to.
I would rather that be, almost the focus of it, then. Just because I think it'd be funny if he was I was never trying to go back in time. That's kind of what I...
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I did cast someone older kind of with the impetus of, I get to be young again. That's amazing.
Okay. My guy's not super old, but...
I also gender swapped it, so, we'll see.
Oh, that's right. You did that.
Whatever. I agree, but there's something to be said for, I could be king for 20 years, or I could be king for 50 to 70 years.
Okay.
And that's kind of the idea.
Sure. Either way, the third act can more or less stay the same, just with better CGI and better characterization.
Sure. But, I don't know what else we need to do for the movie itself.
Not a lot. I mean, one thing I would like is the costumes to be accurate to the first game, not the second.
I don't care if they're accurate to the video game. I care if they're accurate to the time and place.
I kind of don't mind that if it's the video game. If it's specifically the video game. You know what I mean? If he's wearing the exact same outfit. If
he's wearing the exact same outfit, but everyone else is, dressed in correct period clothing?
No, that's not what I mean, though. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
But, if we're adjusting the cast list, we should also kind of, I assume the clothing of the video game is whitewashed, too.
The video game's not near as whitewashed as this is.
But I'm assuming the clothing and the character design. It probably is.
I don't know how bad that was.
Yeah,
but
I don't
what I'm kind of wanted to focus on with that is in the first game, as he gets more powerful, he gets more naked for some reason.
Oh.
He's constantly losing a sleeve, and then he just doesn't have that sleeve for the rest of the game.
Okay, if that's what you want to lean on, and it's just very funny.
Really fun.
The real consequences of, he could... So we go back, and he goes back 15 minutes, and it's the exact moment the sleeve got ripped off. He's like, I couldn't go back another 30 seconds? I was really hoping I'd get extra 30 seconds. No? All right, fine. Because,
that'd be great.
Okay, yes. If he keeps going back, and it's a recurring joke where they keep going back to the exact moment after he lost the shred.
After he loses another piece of his shirt.
It's just once. Just a little bit more. No? Fine.
I'd be on board.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
I do like that. Okay. Are there any other set pieces or things we need to talk about in terms of, plot?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I would say I want this to be sillier as a tone.
Oh, for sure.
This needs to be a Marvel-esque movie, almost.
You're gonna like who my writer is.
Good. You might like who mine is, too.
It's not someone who's written a Marvel.
Me either.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, fun. So then let's get into casting.
Okay.
I feel like we gotta start with Dastan.
Sure.
We're going to admit up top that this was very difficult for both of us to do casting.
This was extremely difficult, and I'm not totally thrilled with a lot of my cast. But I did keep it as good as possible.
I did, too. I did the best that I could with all of the different, people. I tried to make it as interesting and cast the Persian people I was capable of finding.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a lot of them. Haven't seen all of them do things, but I did my best, and I assume you did as well.
Exactly, yeah.
That said, my Dastan is... in Stateless, Clickbait, and The Night Agent. He is a Australian Persian man who is the leader of the Netflix show, I think, Clickbait. He is the right age, the right look. I think he'd be a very fun Dastan. His name is Phoenix Ray. Raya?
Something like that.
Something like that.
I saw his name when I looked at stuff, but I haven't seen anything he was in, so I didn't go with him.
Oh, I'm okay with doing that.
Yeah. No, I get that. I decided to go similar route where it's a guy who doesn't have a lot going. He doesn't have a huge IMDb, for example.
That's going to be consistent. Continue.
Yeah. But I knew him from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., specifically the final season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
He was Cassius, who's an alien. He was in Flash Forward 2, which I really enjoyed when that show was on, but he was only in a few episodes of that. And he is a lead role on one of the Chicago shows. I think Chicago Med, but I don't remember.
What's his name?
Dominic Raines. I mostly went with him because dude's got the look I kind of wanted. He looks super cavalier, super cool.
How old is he?
42. So he's a little older than I might want, but that was kind of an issue with everybody I was finding.
I kept finding a lot of people in their 40s.
Yeah.
That might be a problem for who we go with for our Tamina, who I think for my person is in her late 20s.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's come back to this.
Sure, yeah. I'm fine with it.
Who did you have for your Tamina?
So this is one where I wasn't super thrilled with who I went with, but this is where I got my star power, basically.
Okay.
I have a few other names that I was really interested in, but I went with Gal Gadot. First off, she's not supposed to be Persian, Tamina. She is supposed to be anti-Persian, and Gal Gadot is Israeli, which would have been in the Persian Empire.
It's true.
It is the right ethnicity, and she is fun. Like, Gal Gadot is fun. She was a good Wonder Woman.
It's true.
So, basically, I kind of just was like, if I want to star in this is where it goes, kind of thing.
Kind of. Yeah. Politically, I don't love that choice.
Not a huge fan of Gal Gadot's politics, yeah. But that's not where I'm talking about her.
So the actress that I cast she was in iCarly. She was in Sex Lives of College Girls, and she's the lead character in the Persian version. This actress's name is Layla Mahamadi.
Mm-hmm.
And I went with as many Persian actors as I could across all parts just because I'm trying to hit the region, if not strictly the kingdom.
I also went very regional with lots of things. I will say part of why I went Gal Gadot over someone like who you picked
Layla Mahamadi.
Layla is because of the age. I didn't want to put a 20-year-old with a 40-year-old.
That makes perfect sense to me.
The other person who I also wrote down and was like, maybe she'd be great is Sarah Shahi, but I'm not super familiar with her work outside of Black Adam, which was a bad movie. So it was hard for me to...
Shadi?
Shahi.
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 That is a good backup. And
yeah.
I assume Sarah Shahi is also...
She's in her 40s. I have her birth date, but I don't want to just say that.
That's
but
fair.
It's around the right age.
Got it. It's the right age to pair with your actor.
Yes. So she was in Black Adam. She was also in The Rookie and some Chicago Fire. But I don't really know her very well.
Yeah, I remember seeing her and being like, oh, she's got a good look, and then seeing her age and being like, yeah.
Fair enough.
All right, fair enough. Who did you have for your Nizam?
This is where I started to go a little wild with stuff.
Okay, hit me.
I wanted Nizam to be funny. Like, I wanted him to constantly be like...
Oh, I think your Nizam ended up being my Sheikh Amar.
We'll see what we did with Sheikh Amar, because I think you'll like my choice. I went with Maz Jobrani.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Oh, he's a stand-up comedian. He's been in a lot of things. Better Off Ted was, like, what I know him from, but he's in a lot of things. He is an excellent comedian.
Okay.
Iranian guy. I had his Wikipedia pulled up, and then I lost it. But he's very fun. He's done some action-y movies. Jimmy Westwood, something...
Vestwood. Jimmy Westwood, American hero.
Yeah, it's a parody of everything. Oh, he was in Superior Donuts, which was also very good.
Great.
I really like him, and I think it'd be funny, and we could put him elsewhere also.
No, I think we should go with him. I gender swapped this role. I went with an actress named Bella Warda. She's older. She's also in the Persian version. She's in something called Radio Dreams, and she literally runs an Iranian theater company.
Okay.
And so I thought she'd be like the Ben Kingsley equivalent of like the big, dramatic, powerful actor.
Sure. Which is not what I was looking for.
Which is not what he went for at all. But
yeah,
I think Maz Jobrani's very fun. And I'm perfectly happy going with Maz Jobrani.
Oh, and he's Jafar in the Descendants movies.
I did just see that.
Yeah. Which is what most people might actually know him from.
Which I think is very silly to then cast him, like, doing not that vibe, but still being like, I guess I'm still the bad guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, great. Maz Jobrani, no problem.
Yeah. I originally did have him as Sheikh Amar and then had a better idea and started switching things around.
Love it.
Yeah.
So then, let's talk about the older brother, Tuss. The older brother, I left as a brother. Mm-hmm. He is a voice in I'm so sorry, he's not a voice. He's in Spider-Man Homecoming, he's in Succession, he's in The Accidental Wolf. It's an actor named Arian Moayed.
I had him play Garcev.
Oh.
Yeah, because
That's really funny.
I wanted Garciv to be the stronger of the two brothers, and this was the guy who I'm like, that's more action element than the guy I picked.
That's kind of why I wanted it, because like that's really funny.
Yeah. So basically, I had him as Garciv, and for Tuss, I had Khalid Abdallah. He was in The Kite Runner, which was what I know him from, but he was also in Green Zone, which was really good. He was in The Crown. He's a more dramatic actor, and I felt like he was more... Oh, he was also in Assassin's Creed, but...
Yeah.
I felt he was more king-like than Aryan, is basically the difference between those two.
That's
but
fair.
I don't mind switching them by any stretch.
I think that'd be really funny. My Garciv, I went with a different vibe of like, can do hyper-aggression, but also like, isn't just the one note, because I also gender swapped this character.
Right.
And so I went with an actress from DC's Legends of Tomorrow. I went with Tala Ash.
I like Tala Ash.
She's so good.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. We could do that. Make Aryan Tuss and Tala Ash.
Yeah.
Garciv. I'm fine with that. That's
great. Let's rock
works
and
for
roll.
me. I don't mind.
Cool. Who is your King Shahraman?
Okay, so this is where I wanted my guy who's like a dramatic actor.
Yes, of course.
And I didn't even pick someone that I think of that way, but he definitely is. I went with Sean Taub.
I don't know this guy.
He's from Iron Man. He plays Yinsen. And he's in
perfect.
He's in Crash. He's also in The Kite Runner, and he's in Homeland, and he's in an Apple Plus show that I haven't watched called Tehran. Obviously about Iran.
I went with an actor I didn't necessarily recognize, another dramatic actor, but he's my last person from the Persian version. He's also was in House of Dragon. He's on Flight 422. It's an actor named Bijan Danishmand.
I did run into him a bunch, actually.
But I think Sean Taub is a better choice.
Sure, I'm on board with that.
I think that's very good and very clever.
Thank you.
So now I feel like we need to talk about our Sheik Amar.
Yes.
And I think there's a not unreasonable chance that we went with the same person.
There's a good chance, but I don't think so. I want to know who you said first.
Well, this is a character that needs to be very funny. That as soon as this person shows up, we're like, this is the best one. He's our favorite.
Sure.
And like, he's exactly the sort of person you just love to see be hilarious in What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, no, we did not go the same.
I went with Kayvon Novak.
That is a great choice. I didn't think about him. I went with Guz Khan.
Oh!
Pakistani actor.
Oh.
Pakistan was, in fact, part of the Persian Empire. I double-checked 4 times to make sure.
For this character, that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. He's anti-Persian. Ooh. He is hilarious.
He's so good.
But both of these are good choices. I really like both guys.
We're going with Guz Khan.
Yeah, Guz Khan's great. We both love him from Taskmaster, obviously. But if you haven't watched Man Like Mobeen, treat yourself. It is genuinely one of my favorite like British sitcoms ever.
It's amazing.
So funny.
Guz Khan is hilariously confident, bordering on arrogant, but not, but also like one of the sweetest guys.
Guz Khan is this character.
Guz Khan is this character.
Guz Khan is just straight up this character.
That's why as soon as he said Guz Khan, I'm like, oh, well, obviously you're correct.
For a second, I thought you were going to say it. Like, I genuinely, like, when you started going into your preamble, I was like, there is a good chance you would have pulled Guz Khan out for this. I was worried that, like, him being Pakistani would be a problem. That's why I kept double-checking. But not for this character, for sure.
Which brings us to Sisu.
Yes.
Which we both gender swapped.
Yes.
So who did you have?
Denai Guerrera.
You know, I also had Denai Guerrera.
Yeah, because we want her to be...
a fucking awesome, kick-ass martial artist.
I just want her to be what's-her-name from Black Panther the whole time. That's all I want.
I want her to be that character from Black Panther...
But more menacing, even?
But I want it to be like a subversion of that. Like, we see her and we expect her to be that character, and then I want it to just be like a lie.
Oh, she's just not good at things?
Yeah.
That'd be really funny.
Of, like, she's there because, like Guz Khan has created this, like, he's a storyteller. He, like, hypes people up. And he's hyped her up to such a degree that she's like, okay. So she's standing there holding a spear, and then she tries to hit someone with the spear instead of stabbing one with the spear. No, not even that. She, like, doesn't even realize that stabbing is the important part. She just tries to hit them with a baseball bat.
Like a bat.
Yeah.
Be funny. She, like, throws stuff and it lands, like, 3 feet in front of her.
Yeah. So we had the same person. Because, like, obviously that's how you go with.
It was the best choice. There were
100%.
Like, I kept looking for other choices, and it was, like, I don't want to just find an athlete for this role.
No. You want the best person for this role.
Absolutely.
I like, for the Sansons, I'm just like, just put the stunt actors in.
Sure. I have one.
Please.
I only cast one assassin. And so, because I wasn't really sure where where they were supposed to be from, it was very weird to me. I went with a Greek man,
okay,
who plays basketball. His name is Giannis Antetokounmpo. He is one of the best basketball players of all time.
I'm going to need you to say that last name again.
I'm going to just show it to you because Antetokounmpo is how it's pronounced, but I'm not about to spell that right.
Antetokounmpo. I'm just going to have you say it when that comes.
So Giannis, he's one of the best basketball players I've ever seen. He is amazing. He's huge. He's very funny when I've seen him do interviews and such. And I think I would like to see him be a kick-ass assassin leader. And
he probably shouldn't be funny in that role, though.
If you can figure out a way to do it, it'd be fine. He's charming, though.
That's important.
Yeah.
In charming, and then stabby stab.
Yeah. If you Google Giannis, he probably is the first Giannis to come up. I will say that much.
Yeah, I don't know that it's spelled the same way I was expecting it to be spelled, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Either way, great. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, you got it close enough.
Sure. So now the question is, do we want our leads to be late 20s, early 30s, or in their 40s?
I mean, so my take on this is not the best take in the world. When you're in your early 40s in a movie, you're 30.
I know.
Yeah, and when you're in your late 20s in a movie, you're 30.
I know.
So, like, I don't want to put a girl who's 25 and a man who's 45 together,
I don't
obviously.
either. That's why I feel like we either have to go with both of yours or both of mine.
I don't mind going with both of yours. Because I'm not, like, over the moon about putting Gal Gadot in, and I'm not over the moon about putting Dominic Reigns in. I'd rather Sarah Shahi, maybe, but, like, she's even older than, I think, both of them. So,
she definitely is.
Yeah. But so, like, I'm not, like, super tied to any of my leads. I was more tied to Nizam and Shikamar.
The important thing is that we've filled this world with colorful, interesting people.
Yes.
So if our two leads are somewhat dry, the character actors, the side actors around them are funny, which is kind of how these movies are supposed to be anyway.
Yeah. And that was one reason I kind of went Dominic Reigns, because he's more of a dramatic guy, and when I think of an action star, I think of Keanu Reeves, who's the ultimate just blank slate.
It's true.
Yeah.
And lovely.
Yeah, he's lovely. I love Keanu Reeves.
Absolutely.
I didn't mean it in any sort of demeaning way.
Absolutely not.
I want a guy to play John.
Yes.
Like, just John
absolutely.
Everyman.
Yeah. Sorry. Dastan Everyman.
Dastan Everyman, yeah.
Okay, that brings us to writer and director. I had separate. Did you have separate or a hyphenate?
So I have separate, but I have a writer-director who have worked together as my top choice, and then I have other choices for directors.
Okay.
Just so...
Let me tell you about my writer.
Yeah,
Then then we'll hear what you're thinking, then I'll tell you about my director. I also thought this needed to be less dry. Mm-hmm. Despite the sand, we got to bring a little bit more oomph.
Sure.
So I went with a writer who I think is Persian. I feel like I got that, but now I don't remember because I think she was one of the first people I found.
Okay.
She worked on Human Resources. She worked on Miracle Workers. She's worked on Big Mouth.
Okay, like 2 of those shows. Or one of those shows, sorry.
Her name is Mitra Juhari.
I do not know this person, unfortunately.
So, Mitra, M-I-T-R-A, Juhari, Jouhari.
I vaguely recognize her.
Yeah, I also, vaguely recognized her. She's, a consulting producer on Big Mouth. And,
yeah.
She's an actress as well, but, I got her because she's a writer.
So, how about I pitch this, then? She's in the writer's room, for sure.
Sure.
100%.
I'm more than happy to go with whoever you have for the writer, because I'm not super familiar with the things that she's done. I just wanted someone...
That's why I was... Because, I see her more as an actress who has written some.
Fair.
But I'm not even sure if that's true.
I mean, the fact that she's a consulting producer on Big Mouth means that she...
Oh, she does Joel Kim Booster's podcast. Okay, fun. I love him. Excellent stand-up. And amazing in loop. But doesn't matter. I like the idea of it. I went with Zach Olewicz. I don't know if he's Persian. I'm pretty sure he's not.
Not with that last name.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure he's Eastern European. What he is most known for is Bullet Train and Fear Street.
Got it.
So that was kind of the tone I was looking for. I could not find a Persian writer.
Yeah.
I just couldn't find anyone. I looked a bunch. I looked at a bunch of movies. I'm sure there are plenty more that, I just had to keep digging for, but Hollywood kind of fucked us on this one.
That's true.
But so Bullet Train's the tone I wanted, so I went with that.
That's not unreasonable.
Where I went with it.
I've pulled from Bullet Train so often, and I've used Zach Olkowitz before for exactly this reason. Mm-hmm. He is nowhere near Persian.
I was not. I was pretty confident he was not.
Yeah, but there's a decent chance that that is still the right person to go with.
Yeah.
And then who did you have in terms of, like, directing?
So I'll just go through my, like, thought process here. I wanted the tone of Bullet Train a little bit, obviously. I wanted the tone of, like, a Marvel movie. So my first, like, knee-jerk reaction was James Gunn would be fun for this. I didn't go with him, but I did write him down. And then I kind of thought Christopher McQuarrie, who does all the Tom Cruise movies and the Mission Impossibles and stuff like that. Because Mission Impossible is a very fun tone for this, where there's a lot of stunts going on.
For sure.
And he does really good stunt stuff. But then I kept going back to the Bullet Train thing and realized David Leitch's filmography is amazing.
It is.
And as much as I would love to get a Persian director, there, again, aren't a lot.
That's true.
And then the movies, like Deadpool 2 was fun. Hobbs and Shaw was fun. Not great, but fun. John Wick's amazing. Atomic Blonde was fun. The Fall Guy was fun. Bullet Train was fun. So if I want a fun movie, maybe I go get a guy who I look at all of his movies, and even the ones I don't like, I'm like, well, it was fun.
It's true.
So that's kind of where I landed.
That makes perfect sense to me. And he has a much deeper pool to pull from than the person I got to direct.
Okay.
I also did not get a Persian director, but I did get an Indian director.
Okay.
Just like, certainly has, he has more of a background in acting as well, obviously, when you hear the name.
I think I know who you picked.
But, like, I wanted someone who kind of has a sense of, like, familiarity with getting to know the roots of a community and a world and being able to tell that story. And whatever we did for the writer, because I think Zach Olkowitz is, in fact, the right choice. I'm perfectly happy to go with that.
Sure.
But I would push us more towards someone who really only has one big action movie under his belt, and it's one that I know you liked.
Mm-hmm. I know who you're talking about. 100%.
Monkey Man director, Dev Patel.
So I thought Dev Patel for a while, but then I said, oh, he's really only made the one movie. And Monkey Man, excellent movie.
Yeah.
Not fun.
No.
Not the fun that I was looking for. So that's why like, when I'm thinking James Gunn or Dev Patel, I was like, okay, I think I'm in two different worlds here.
Yes.
But I'm totally on board with giving
it to Dev
Patel.
But we also know like, that's what was true for Monkey Man, but we also know Dev Patel can be very funny.
He's great. I love him. I would love to see him do more directing. So absolutely, on board.
I feel like this would be an interesting follow-up to Monkey Man. I'm like, oh, Monkey Man, I'm going to do Prince of Persia next.
It'd be great, honestly.
Kinda.
And, like, part of me was also like, well, my writer's really only got two things. Do I have a writer who's only done two things and a director who's only done two things?
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, it's a good choice. I really like that. Yeah.
I think that that's the way to do it. But that's our cast.
Yeah.
We kind of burned through that. But we were both excited because we both put a lot of work and effort into this.
The casting was really hard, especially for the leads and especially for director for me.
Yeah.
But, like, the side characters were so fun to cast.
Yeah.
I really like a lot of these people.
I do, too. And I think you found some truly amazing people, especially the ones that you found that I agreed with and had the same person.
Yeah, that was very fun when we had the same person exactly
twice.
Cool.
So, Prince of Persia, The Sands of Tomb, because it's the second one?
Oh, Sands of Tomb.
Sands of Tomb. Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time.
Yeah.
Dastan will be played by Phoenix Ray. Tamina will be Layla Mohammadi. Nizam will be Maz Jabrani.
Yeah.
Tuss will be Arian Moayed.
It's so funny to me.
Garsiv will be Tala Ash. King Shahraman will be Sean Taub. Sheikh Amar will be Guz Khan. Siso will be Denai Gorira.
Yep.
One of our Hassansons will be Giannis Antetokounmpo. All of this will be written by Zach Olkowitz and directed by Dev Patel.
Yeah.
That is Prince of Persia, Sands of Time.
Yeah.
Alex, you gonna go see this movie?
I would definitely see that movie.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. If they remade a Prince of Persia movie with a cast that didn't have, one, a lead actor I genuinely hate, but two, everyone doing British accents for some reason, I'd be on board. This is a video game that deserves a movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. We did it. Alex, thank you again for finding another video game movie to remake with me. I genuinely don't know what we're going to do next.
I got some options. We've talked about one of them once.
Angry Birds 2?
Oh, two options.
Oh, okay.
We talked about two of them once.
Fair enough. But for now, plugs. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at Food and Hippos. All one word, because that's how Instagram works.
It's true.
And if you're in Burbank area on a Friday night and you want to enjoy some stand-up comedy, you might not want to come to Flappers Comedy Club, but I'll be there.
Yeah.
And I'm very funny there.
Do you have anything else to plug or promote?
I have a couple shows in Pasadena in August, but...
Do you have like a podcast you might want to talk about?
Oh, right. We do a podcast together that we just wrapped up, the most recent season that we normally do on this exact time.
It's true.
Called the Poke Battle Bros, where we talk about Pokemon battles from a draft league on YouTube. It's very niche, but it's me and Sam.
It's so niche. So we basically have been watching... We've done 2 seasons of this.
Yeah.
And it's a Pokemon draft league where people... like, there's a pool of Pokemon, and the 14 people...
This is the nerdiest thing about
the 12 people...
the world, honestly.
The 12 people who are competing in the league draft the Pokemon, and then over the course of 8 weeks... battle
each other,
and then there's playoffs.
Yeah, like sports. And if you like the Giannis Antetokounmpo reference, you might like Pokemon Draft Leagues.
You genuinely might.
Yeah.
I don't like sports, but I enjoy Pokemon Draft League.
I like both a lot.
And Alex is very good at it. He's wearing one of his favorite competitors' shirts right now.
Correct. We're not making this joke.
I will carry this joke to every podcast.
Drewby is on my shirt.
It's true. So... that's where you can find Alex, Poke Battle Bros on the internet,
on the internet,
and Food and Hippos. If you want to find me, I am at Sam Gasch, SamGasch on BlueSky, or you can find me on Instagram at Ideal Remake. Or if you want to suggest other video game movies that Alex and I need to cover, or want to talk about Pokemon, you can reach out on the Dueling Genre Discord, which has a link in the doobly-doo show notes. That is the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So we will end this episode the same way we end every episode. Alex, what is your favorite quote from the movie Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time?
I'm going to have a war council with my brother and my uncle and my other brother. That's it.
Okay, good.